with the orchestra and became a member of the orchestra. And I met, of course, nearly everybody in the orchestra, just one thing or another. And one of the people I met was Nancy, who was a flute player for the orchestra.
So was this orchestra, was it formed from the various little groups you had, or was there now a real
No,
Norfolk?
this was a regular full symphony orchestra.
So all these
it wasn't a real big symphony
orchestra. Yeah, but it was your local, probably Portsmouth, Norfolk orchestra?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you're moving on up.
So this was very nice because I knew this girl I met from school and from whatever you call it that I was studying, which at that time was night school. But anyway.
How old were you when you were doing this?
How old was I?
So you were taking some night classes. You probably, what, 20 or so?
Probably 19.
Okay.
And so the orchestra occasionally would play out of town. And you'd go to, I remember we played in Richmond once. As a guest orchestra.
Pretty decent orchestra then if you get to go visit other places. Yeah.
I didn't mean I was good. It just meant the orchestra was good, and they were allowing me to tag along and kind of learn. And the other attraction, of course, was I met this nice girl who's played the flute, Nancy. So all of this just enriched my life. New people, new things to do. George Walker was playing the bass for that.
Still? So he knew, yeah.
He knew me. It just worked fine. Then came a slight, decided I wanted to go to college. So I went over to William and Mary and signed up for college. Because I had some money now. I'd say, I've been working a long time now. I had some money. And also, George T. McLean one day had told me that I had better get
at the mechanics shop.
At this, where I worked as a mechanic, that I'd better get myself an education. And he said, if you get yourself an education, you come back and you can work for me. And I was going to be one of the managers of his pretty good size auto. Anyway.
I remember his name from before, because he's the one who really prompted you to go back to school, if I remember.
Yes, indeed. And I decided that was probably a good thing to do. That there were a lot of opportunities out there if I got my education that I wouldn't have otherwise. I mean, you can only do so well as an automobile mechanic, and that you can do pretty good, but not only so well. So anyway, so I signed up for William and Mary as a student, hoping the hell my money would last to go through the first year, and of course I would have to be working, which I expected to, and got all signed up. Everybody was nice and friendly, and then I got a letter one day that said Uncle Sam wants you. So I had to back out of all of that and get on a bus. And guess who was J.E. Howell, who was one of my best buddies, and he was with me. And he ended up in what was the Oak Ridge plant? No, not Oak Ridge. The big thing where they were developing the atom bomb. And I ended up at
Los Alamos, isn't it? I know what you're talking about. Isn't it Oak Ridge? Or I know what you're talking about.
It was usually the East Coast. I mean, they didn't move all that stuff over there.
Well, anyways, go on.
Anyway, that's what he did. He did his basic training, and I did my basic training. And both of us are still friends, very good friends, so we had a good time. But then he got sent to wherever it was in the desert. I thought it was in Arizona, but anyway, where they were developing the atomic bomb. And I got sent to.
It's in New Mexico.
In New Mexico, yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah.
And I got sent to Aberdeen Proving Grounds, where I was going to be sent to. Basically, it's a college. And so I got signed up for school, and at the same time I got signed up for this school, which meant I didn't have to go to infantry. I got so damn sick I couldn't stand it. I mean, I don't know what I caught, but I thought I was going to die.
Oh, really?
And
this is right before you're going off to radar school at Aberdeen.
Yeah.
So your William and Mary plans got ended.
And I know they didn't, because I didn't ever let anybody know how sick I was. I showed up at class every day sick.
So you were actually going to William and Mary? But not in Aberdeen, you weren't.
No, what did I say? Did I say William and Mary?
Yeah.
No, William and Mary is one I didn't get to
Yeah,
go.
you couldn't go. You went up to Aberdeen instead. So you went to the radar classes that they put you through.
Well, I went to basic training first.
Yeah.
And basic, that was in Aberdeen also. Did my basic, 6 weeks of basic.
And then got sick after that.
Then at the same time that I graduated from basic and moved into this training I got sick. And normally they wouldn't mess around at all. They just toss you out of there and get somebody else. So I wasn't going to let anybody know how sick I was.
Oh, God.
And I almost died. But I made it, and I stayed in, and I got my...
So were you sick for weeks? Was this a long, it probably felt like it.
Yeah, about a week and a half.
Okay.
Sickest I've ever been in my life.
But just the time they could have thrown you out because you
Oh,
were just
yeah,
getting
if they'd
started.
known I was sick, they would have. Because they didn't mess around. But fortunately, nobody realized it, and there were some people who doubted I could pass the course because I'd been an automobile mechanic. And they said, where the hell did you get the background?
Yeah, the math.
Yeah, the math. But anyway, I did it. I made it all right. Graduated. I was made a member of it was supposed to be a 14-man detachment, and we were going to do research. It was a research detachment. Ordnance Integrated Fire Control Repair Detachment, and research. The captain of that outfit was Captain Caudell, who was a relatively short captain, very, very good-natured, and looked after his men just like they were his children. He wouldn't let them do anything that would make them put them in trouble, and when they got in trouble, he'd do anything to save them. Which is why he only made captain, probably. But he was a wonderful man. And after he got us all together, this was when they first formed up, got us all together. And he said, told us each what we were going to be doing and so forth. And he said, and I want Don to be right now my mind's gone.
Is it a ranking you're looking for?
Yeah, it was
sergeant?
Yeah, the first sergeant. I want you to serve as first sergeant. And of course that made all the other guys mad. But he just laughed it off. He says, he was an automobile mechanic. I said,
he knows how to
you won't know anything about what you're doing. Don't worry about it. It was a jovial group if there ever was one.
Well, now, did Nancy, I guess this time you and Nancy had parted ways because you had to leave all the orchestra stuff behind. So your old life now was going behind.
I had gone to met another girl that I was dating, and I think your mother knows what happened there. I was in the Army, but in the basic training about 2 weeks when I got a letter from her family that saying she died in an automobile accident.
Oh.
And that was...
Was this a girl in the Aberdeen area or a girl in the Portsmouth?
No, this was before Aberdeen.
Okay. Yep.
And that was really very tragic. She's a nice girl. I mean, we weren't in love or anything, but we did a lot of things together and had a good time. But and she was writing me regularly.
Oh.
Anyway, those things happened. Couldn't do anything about it, so besides, I had so many things going on now.
Yeah, so this was the big transition in your life
Oh,
because
man.
your whole course of future events now is going to change based on getting this new education.
That's right.
So let me stop her there.